A young Jamaican professional earns 165,000 Jamaican dollars per month. After taxes and deductions, she takes home about 124,000 Jamaican dollars. Rent for a basic one-bedroom apartment in Kingston, $120,000. That's almost every dollar gone before food, transport, or light bill. That's not fiction. That's the real math for thousands of our professionals right now. They work hard. They still can't buy a home. This isn't just a crisis, it's a betrayal. In Jamaica, we've long told our young people, go to school, get a degree, find a good job, and you'll be rewarded with a better life. But that promise is breaking. And the cost? A generation locked out of home ownership, stuck renting, and slowly losing hope. And the question that echoes across dinner tables, WhatsApp groups, and call-in shows is this: why can't we just make housing cheaper in Jamaica? Let's go deeper. The growing gap between salaries and house prices. In 2024, the average cost of a one-bedroom apartment in Kingston was 28.5 million Jamaican dollars. A two-bedroom, over $40 million. Now look at salaries. A high school teacher earns around 165,000 Jamaican dollars per month. An IT specialist might make 200,000 Jamaican dollars. Even an accountant pulls in roughly 215,000 Jamaican dollars monthly. After deductions, most are left with about 75% of their gross pay. That means someone taking home 150,000 Jamaican dollars would need to save over 20 years without spending a cent to cover a 15% down payment on a starter apartment. Let's be real. These numbers don't add up. They point to a housing market built for someone else, not for the average working Jamaican. The rental trap, when shelter becomes a sentence. You would think renting would be a more manageable step. But rent has exploded too. In the Kingston metropolitan area, a one-bedroom apartment rents for between 95,000 to 150,000 Jamaican dollars per month. Add light, water, Wi-Fi, and groceries, and you're well past 250,000 Jamaican dollars in monthly expenses. A young nurse earning 180,000 Jamaican dollars can't cover that. So, what happens? She moves in with relatives, or she rents with friends, or worse, she leaves Jamaica entirely. Brain drain, fueled by high rent and broken dreams. For many, rent is no longer a stepping stone to ownership. It's a permanent trap that eats savings and steals futures. The real forces making housing so expensive. The sad truth? It's not just demand and supply. A storm of hidden forces is inflating prices. 1. Not enough houses. Jamaica needs about 15,000 new homes each year to meet demand. We've been building closer to 11,000. Some years, as few as 4,000. That shortfall drives up prices fast. 2. Cash from abroad. Foreign investors, digital nomads, and returning residents often buy with foreign currency or cheaper loans. They're not affected by Jamaican salaries. That gives them a huge advantage and drives prices out of reach for locals. This isn't bashing those in the diaspora. They are investing in their country. 3. The Airbnb effect. Tourism-focused platforms like Airbnb turn long-term rentals into short stays for visitors. One property owner can make over $4,500 monthly from just 35% occupancy. No wonder landlords are switching, but it leaves fewer options for actual residents and pushes local rent even higher. Why construction costs are so high? You'd think building affordable homes would solve the crisis, but building here is expensive, and here's why. Land is pricey. A quarter acre in St. Andrew can cost up to 31 million Jamaican dollars. Materials are taxed to death. Between import duties, GCT, and environmental levies, costs increase by 30% to 40% before a single block is laid. Labor and machinery aren't cheap. Skilled trades and tractor services can cost thousands of dollars per hour. Developer profit margins are baked in. Even modest houses need to turn a profit, or they don't get built. One expert estimate suggests that government taxes and fees account for 10% to 15% of the total cost of a new home. That means the state is taxing the very thing it's promising to make affordable. Even the loans don't help much. Let's say you manage to find a house that seems within reach. You still have to survive the mortgage jungle. The maximum NHT loan for a single person is 9 million Jamaican dollars. But in Kingston, a basic apartment starts at 28 million Jamaican dollars. That leaves a $19 million gap you must cover with commercial loans or savings you probably don't have. There is also a special allocation of $12 million for single applicants purchasing homes priced at $14 million or less, subject to affordability. And mortgages aren't cheap, with rates between 7.5% and 9%. The interest you'll pay over 30 years could be more than the house itself. Add rising property insurance, up 30% to 40% in just a few years due to hurricanes, and the monthly bill becomes unmanageable. One storm like Hurricane Beryl and rates jump again. And don't forget, every home purchase comes with transfer taxes, stamp duties, and legal fees that can add hundreds of thousands in upfront costs. In today's Jamaica, a one-bedroom apartment in Kingston costs more than 10 times the annual salary of the average young professional. In Germany or Singapore, that ratio is often closer to 4 to 1. We are asking our young people to climb a mountain without a rope and then blaming them when they fall. Is the system designed to fail? Let's talk about policy. The National Housing Trust, NHT, was created to help Jamaicans own homes. But today, the maximum loan barely covers 1/3 of the cost of a basic apartment in Kingston. Worse, billions have been pulled from the NHT for unrelated government projects like Emancipation Park and budget shortfalls. Meanwhile, the lowest-income Jamaicans rarely qualify for loans, while higher earners get the biggest help. Even when homes are built, they often aren't where people work. And with poor transport, faraway homes are practically useless. Countries that did it differently. Let's pause and ask, what did other countries do when faced with the same crisis? Singapore. They built millions of government-owned apartments and sold them on 99-year leases. Citizens use their pension savings to buy homes, and the state controls prices by owning the land. Vienna. The city owns over 200,000 apartments. Rents are tied to cost, not market greed. 3 out of 4 people qualify for public housing, yes, including the middle class. Canada. They created a portable housing benefit, cash given directly to renters, so they can afford market prices. And cities only get federal money if they reform zoning laws and speed up building permits. Germany. Tenants are protected with long leases and rent controls. Renters can't be kicked out easily. Plus, the government pays part of your rent if your income is low. 4 bonus facts that hit hard. Number 1. In 2024, some professionals were paying nearly all of their income just on rent. Number 2. A truckload of concrete blocks jumped to 13,000 Jamaican dollars in 2025, up from 12,000 Jamaican dollars in 1 year. Number 3. The NHT spent just 53.5% of its annual collections on housing in 2024, down from 140% in 2021. Number 4. Vienna's renters don't get evicted for earning more later. Income checks happen only once. That builds stable communities. It can change if we want it to. This isn't just a housing story, it's a justice story. When a nurse, a teacher, and a police officer can't afford to live close to where they work, we have to ask, who is Jamaica being built for? The housing crisis is not unsolvable. However, solving it takes more than just talking. It takes bold action. Reforming the NHT, slashing building taxes, regulating the short-term rental market, and further decentralizing development so that hope isn't trapped behind postcodes. Young Jamaicans aren't asking for handouts. They're asking for a shot, a roof, a future. Let's not just tell them to work hard. Let's build a country where hard work pays off. If you believe Jamaica can and must do better, then subscribe to Impacting Jamaica. Share this video with your MP. Tag the NHT. Let's start a non-partisan conversation that turns into a movement.